So now I have the cake ready, the square ganache that we made, and I also have the practice of the flour that we made is just for reference, and I have cleaned up the board, and now it is ready to start sweeping it. And I also have the palette knives that I want to work, the ones that I said, the extras. You can see the difference, how they look. They are quite sharp and they just come in handy for making the smaller petals on the inside. So I'm just going to use them using the same technique that we just used, using these two palette knives. I'm just going to use these here, and we'll just see how it's just going to start getting the petals. So those are the palette knives, and obviously I have the same set of colors here with me. I'm just going to start with the pinks. The same logic, I'm just going to start with the darker shade first and then go on one color lesser on the inside. And now for the top, I have the circle cutters here. So I'm just going to plan for 3 and then leave a little bit of gap on one side. So that will be 1. And let me see if I have space for 2. Okay, and then I'm just going to leave a little bit of gap here so I could just use leaves. So I have some green color made. I'll just show you when we're just going to get onto leaves on how to make the leaves. Okay, so this will be my circles, and so let me start. So I'm just going to, out of these two, I'm just going to pick this one, the bigger one, to start with. So as you're sweeping, depending on this angle of the palette, I could still be sweeping like that, and you see the cream is still there on the board, right? Which means you are not sweeping it, turning the right angle of the palette knife. See, I am sweeping, but the cream is still there. So I have to just make sure I am tilting it quite well. So my sweeping has to be clean, and that is when you know you're actually picking up quite enough cream that you need. So you want to clean up on both the sides, and then you have quite a good amount of cream that has been picked up at the back. I'm just going to start here, and I'm just going to see where the circle is, and like I said, right angles, right, and slowly turn as the spatula would touch the cake. And now obviously the cake has to be cold, it's just taken right out of the refrigerator, it's like very firm. So as I'm sweeping, I could just go in and then get the petal out. So that's how the first petal looks. So I'm making sure I have quite enough for the back that I have picked up, and I'm just going to go on with a bit of overlap, just sweep it down. I'm just going to go on with the next petal, sweep as much, take quite a good quantity, clean on both the sides. And now it's important to keep the turntable on, so you could just keep your hand movement all in the same direction, but you could just keep turning the cake So it makes your working on the petal quite easy. So that will be one layer. What I'm going to do now, to continue do the same color as the last layer, the outermost layer of all the 3 circles that I have here. So the last layer of the dark color is done. I'm just going to start adding the lighter version, a bit of the dark color and the lighter pink, and then start making the petals for one more layer inside. So now for the inner layer, I'm just going to pick up one size small. So this was going to be the smallest, and so this is the one I had used. So I'm just going to go to this one first and finish that layer with one shade lighter, and then for the innermost, then I'm just going to use the smallest. So I'm done with the second layer as well. And I'm just going to pick up some more of the lighter pink. And in case if I just want it even more lighter than that, I could add some plain whipping cream, which is no color. So now I'm just going to pick up the last size, the smallest one, and I'm just going to start working on the petals the exact similar way. And now for the maybe last layer. For this we just have a little more space, but for these two I could just go on one more layer of the petal, for which I just want to add some plain colored whipping cream. Just going to pick it up just a bit, I won't need much. Just going to work on here to just have the lightest pink. So now for the innermost where I have to fill, I'm just going to pick up a paint brush, and then the last color, just grab a little bit of the same whipping cream. I'm just going to go on the inside, just add like a small dollop. You just need to cover it up. You could also use a damp brush, just dipped the brush in water, and you could just clean it up in places where you think if there is a little bit of a mess. Just getting the bowl of water here. Say like to maybe highlight a part like in here where you think the petal could be a little better. Okay, so now the flowers, the petals are done. So I'll just clean up, and then I'll get back to show you how we're just going to start making the leaves. So I have the board cleaned and the green colored whipping cream. I also have a lighter shade. I just want to mix it up, or just one shade with some plain whipping cream will also do. I'm just going to pick up this one. What I'm just going to do is to move the cake aside. Let's just do a bit of practice on this same flower that we made. Just going to pick up some of the green cream. You can see it is like quite dried now, but that doesn't matter. We're just going to sweep it left and right, and it is going to be all right. I'm just going to smear it up and make it quite thin, and then I'm just going to sweep both sides. It's similar to the palette knife petals. So you have equal amount of the cream on either side. I'm just going to so these petals were just right angles, and then we just are going to, this is the action that we have to do for the petals, right? So for the leaves it is just going to be flat. I'm just going to place it down and just pull it downwards. It's more like the palette knife basic petals. So that is what we are going to do for the leaves. So obviously on both the sides we're just going to sweep and clean. Now I'm just going to bring this flower here. I'm just going to so you also should be careful that we are not going to damage the flower. You just have to be a bit closer to the flower. We don't have to really touch the flower. Okay, so something similar we could just do it on the cake now. Then I'm just going to start on the cake. I'm going to have a basic marking of where exactly I'd like. In case if positions are not looking great, then maybe I could just wipe it out so I know where I just need to place. So I'm just marking for one leaf here. So we just have 4 at the base of this, and similarly it is easier that way to sweep it. Here I will use the bigger palette, so I'll just do maybe one here. Huh? I'll just use the bigger ones right there, and maybe then I will just do a few here. On there, let me just finish up till here, and then let's see if we need some more leaves. Then I'm just going to switch over to the smaller one. Then I'm just going to add a bit of leaf in here. I'm just going to add in one more here, overlapping the two, like the third one in the center. Okay, and then we just need to have them all connected. So in the gaps I'm just going to pipe some berries. So I have the lighter color of the green filled in a piping bag with a round nozzle attached. So let me just get to the practice sheet and let's see how we're just going to pipe the berries. So it can be in a few different sizes as well. Okay, like so. So now if there is a gap between the leaf and the flowers, So you can just have different sizes. So then here in the gap you can just start with a big one. Again, that way we could just all connect them together and make it look they're all like a single element of the sculpture painting. So let me just start with the gap here. So here there's like one stretch of gap. You just want to use a bit of the green to just cover that up, so you don't want to show the ganache. Okay, so we've done with the sculpture painting. We just made the petals and filled up with the ombre shades to complete the flower, and then we made some leaves and we've just filled it up with some berries. So we could also add a little bit of the pink whipping cream or even a little bit of gel color mixed with vodka or water, or even some petal dust to just dab, but allow this whole thing to dry up a bit, or maybe you could just put it in the fridge so it just completely dries up, at least on the outside, and we could just touch the berries on the top with maybe a contrasting color. The light pink will be good enough, and leaves also we could have done in dual shade, but then this avocado green with this fuchsia's ombre for the sculpture painting, and the flowers and leaves go really well together. So we just come to this end of this lesson. We have learned how to do the sharp edges on the square ganache cake and the beautiful sculpture painting done using whipping cream on this ganache cake. So see you on the next lesson.